Welcome back to DIY Boomers. Here's the great looking faucets that we decided to finish our vanity build with in our bathroom remodel. These are Delta Nicoli 2-handle matte black faucets that normally have the handles spaced 8 inches apart, but can be less depending on where the 3 holes are located. We'll be doing a little copper pipe soldering and installing a couple SharkBite connectors on the supply lines. The drain lines will be installed using 1.5-inch white plastic pipe. So I soldered together 4 of these 1/2-inch copper pipe extensions. I installed SharkBite push-to-connect stop valves on the extensions and soldered a T and an elbow to attach the air hammer chambers. The extensions will be attached to the existing copper supply lines with SharkBite push-to-connect sleeves. First, I'll be shutting off the water and removing the reusable SharkBite end caps that I installed in the demo. The critical steps for leak-free copper pipe soldering are cleaning, applying the right amount of flux, heating the joint properly, and getting the right amount of solder in the joints. I didn't go into great detail for soldering here. If you would like to see a thorough look at how I solder, take a look at our video on installing the Delta multi-choice shower valve in our bathroom remodel that includes all the tools and materials needed and my technique for doing the soldering. I'll put a link to that video down in the description. This is how easy it is to install SharkBite push-to-connect fittings. This is the stop valve for the supply line and was only $2 or $3 more than the valves with compression fittings. All SharkBite connectors are also very easy to remove by pushing the removal tool up into the end rings and pulling the fitting off the pipe. The valve handles are easy enough to install. You start by placing the countertop gasket up against the handle base and slide the valve assembly down through the sink's mounting holes. Then, on the underside of the countertop, you secure the valve with a washer and the threaded locking bracket. After the locking bracket is installed hand tight, you then tighten the locking screws on the bracket to lock it in place. The faucet spout is installed again by placing the countertop gasket up against the spout base. The spout is secured with a bracket that is slid up over the threaded rod to the underside of the countertop. The bracket is held in place with a nut that is tightened down with the included long-handled nut driver. For installing the pop-up drain assembly, remove the large nut and bottom rubber seal and insert the drain body into the sink. There's a rubber seal under the top flange, but the instructions didn't show it or applying any silicone on it. I think you could if you would prefer. Then apply silicone on the top inner side of the bottom rubber seal and on the top portion of the drain body threads. Reinstall the large nut on the assembly and hand tighten. Connect the water lines by pushing the quick fittings on the valves and the spout into the quick connector. The fittings can easily be removed by pressing the connector tabs and pulling the fittings back out. We bought flex supply lines to connect to our water supply. In this installation, the compression fittings needed to be 1/2-inch fittings to connect to our Delta valves and 3/8-inch fittings on the other end to connect to our SharkBite shutoff valves. Then, with the water shut off, it was just a matter of removing the SharkBite end caps and connecting to the water lines with SharkBite push-to-connect sleeves. While we did prepare in the event of having a leak or two, we were fortunate enough not to have any. So now it's on to finishing up with the drain lines. As you can see, the new sink location on this end of the vanity is not in line with the old sink location. So what I did was install a 45-degree bend and made up the remainder of the angle by turning the straight piece of the P-trap to essentially make another 45-degree angle. These are all simple 1.5-inch compression fittings except for the 1.25-inch extension that I put on the black sink drain, which is also 1.25 inches. The extension piece comes with an 1.5 to 1.25 inch reducer washer to make the transition between the two pipe sizes. When you're done, make sure that you've maintained about a 1/4 inch drop per foot towards the outlet for a proper water flow. The other end of the vanity was pretty much a straight shot from the sink to the outlet. I still used the 1.25 inch extension with the reducer, but all in all it was a much easier fit up. Next up, we'll be framing the mirror with the same red oak as the vanity build. So check back to see that and the rest of the vanity build and bathroom remodel. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.